Good evening, Monday night, 8 p.m. You know the drill. The Live Lounge returns, episode 239. And I get the impression it could be a little bit lively this evening. Myself, Phil Bars, Dan Simpson, and Jonathan are going to talk you through the next few hours, everything that has happened in the darting world of late. Gentlemen, how are we?
Well, tell you what, considerably better than I was feeling last Monday. Let me just tell you that. I was still carrying an awful lot of what I'm going to call minehead fatigue last Monday, both mental and physical. And then this week, I am feeling tip top. We have fully recovered from the minehead fatigue. We're back on it, and all is well. He's not. He's still recovering.
Well, do you know what it is? And we'll talk about this later in the night. Going to Nottingham is not one of life's joys. Certainly going to the Motorpoint Arena is not one of life's joys. And Phil Bars is a prick. For sending me there. Just because I live an hour away means I had to...
I had a lovely Thursday night chatting to all our wonderful subscribers.
Yes, you had a wonderful Thursday as well, Barzy.
I had a lovely day.
You were wining and dining, you were. You were being wined and dined.
Cheltenham was good. Couple of winners, which was always nice. A short price one, and they boosted it in the paddy box for people in there, 12-1. I'll take that from nines.
I tell you what, money comes to money. Money comes to money, doesn't it?
One thing we've learned from this week at Cheltenham, if you are going to take on Denise Coates, you are a very, very silly person, human being. There is a reason why that woman is the richest woman in Britain. Let's put it that way.
That's 365.
Yes, that is the reason why she is the richest woman in Britain. Do not take on her super boost. However, it was an interesting evening at the Premier League, which I'm sure we will discuss in a bit. And a surprise winner, I'm going to say. A surprise winner on the Euro Tour. Not because Wessel hasn't been playing well. That's Rob, but you'd think he's
surprise incoming, I'd say.
Yes. But the phrasing is, I was surprised, but I wasn't shocked. Yeah. That's probably the phrase for the weekend.
Yeah.
It's always been, and we will talk to it. I do feel like it's always been when rather than if, though, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
I was surprised that it happened so soon in the season because, yes, he's been absolutely bossing the Pro Tour. You know, he's won multiple Pro Tours over the past 18 months. But I just didn't think I've ever seen him play that well on a big stage. I know it's not the big stage. I know it's not the big television cameras. But, you know, the Euro Tour is streamed and it is televised. I've never seen him play that well in front of the big cameras. And I thought he played pretty well.
You think the best players have learned to win the Euro Tour first. And I'm a fan of this.
Well, you look at Rob Cross. Look at Rob Cross.
Rob Cross.
Yeah. Rob Cross spent an entire year basically absolutely destroying the Euro Tour, only to run into Marco van Gerwen in the final of most of them. And then in the one that mattered, in the World Championship semi-final, he did the business. So
outrageous levels as well. Like really, truly outrageous levels. And what he managed to do, we will go through it in a bit more detail, but he managed to find those levels, like when he was playing the biggest and best players, you know, like when he comes up against the World Championship finalists, when he comes up against Premier League players, that this is when he was able to find this monstrous level, just really, really superb. That's that one of the best European Tour wins I can recall, just in terms of, like, if you take his mean average over the tournament, it's ridiculous. Absolutely.
Sensational. Look, there is a lot going on tonight. We have two guests this evening. Mitchell will be joining us very, very shortly. He is on first. And then finally, after 45 years of trying and so on, Duff will be joining us. I'm excited to have the Duff man on. And
did I not say to you last week? It was literally, I'm sure it was in my head, wasn't it? That I turned to you and I said, when are we going to finally get the Duff man on the Live Lounge? And we said, we don't know. And we've tried a few times. We've nearly done it and it's dropped through. And within about 24 hours, we're like, right, yep, he's on, confirmed, done. Monday night.
Well, this is the big thing, is the fact that, like, I actually said I thought we'd have more. I thought I'd be more. What was the phrase I thought I used? I think pigs would fly before Neil Duff is on the live lounge because of the fact that he's had to cancel so many times. But it's actually happening. It's happening. Well, days up, black is white.
Let's be fair, which we'll talk about. I mean, there was quite a big announcement drop that has split social media with the move of the Masters, which we'll talk about. To
suggest a split suggests that some people think it might be a good idea.
I'll be honest, I actually don't mind it. I know I'm in the minority here.
This is going to be a fun show.
To be fair, I'm with you. Long term, I like the idea. Don't get me wrong. In the short term, which we'll discuss later, I think it's suicide. But long term, I like it. But let's jump into.
Well, you can't have a long term if you commit short term suicide. That's the point.
That's the point of the word.
In the short term, I'll really enjoy that falling feeling off the cliff. Look, there'll be good. The wind in my hair. Long term, the splat at the bottom.
Oh dear.
That room is rammed already. Dal, how we doing? Kay is in. Gordo is in. WrestleMania. Yes, WrestleMania is running wild on you, and I got it in the social.
It's not far, WrestleMania is not far away now as well, and they're building something really nice. I think they're building something really nice in the Raw main event, the SmackDown main event scene. Let's not talk about
that. Fraser, how we doing, buddy? Kieran is in. Marcus, how we doing? Even into the graphic, the graphic's done its job. How we doing, Emma? Shelty is in. David. Adam, how we doing, mate? James, Hannah, Warren, it is rammed in the chat room already.
This is getting some pelters as well, which seems a bit unreasonable.
This is cool. Joel is in. Chris is in. Anthony is in. Hope you are good, mate. Oh, and I've just seen some good little news. Lendl is in as well. Our guest has arrived. So if we do this, and we'll see you on the other side. And here it is, the WDF #1. Mitchell Lawrie, how we doing, buddy?
I'm not bad, yourselves?
All good, mate. All good. Thanks for we know it's busy. Darts night tonight as well, so popped out to speak to us in between.
Yeah, we're playing darts tonight, but we've got a bye in the first round, so then we've got a game after this. I just want to go home, to be honest. I'm shattered.
Well, welcome to professional darts, buddy. You've got 30 years of this.
That's a 15-year-old be shattered. Outrageous.
Yeah. It's quite sad that this is the best you'll ever feel.
First of all, buddy, you must be delighted with the way the last year has gone, shall we say?
Yeah. The last year or so has been great, to be honest. I've really that's when I showed what I knew I could do for the past 2 years I've been playing darts, but this year's just really been a roller coaster, to be honest. I think what done my nutting is, like, I knew I was better than these players that kept beating me, but I hadn't shown that I was better than these players, so I just made sure to work 10 times as hard as what I was, and then I just showed what I know I have in the locker.
I love that. I love that attitude, and people will say that's arrogant. That's elite sports mentality, and I love that. We see Gerwyn Price say that, and so on. I love that, mate.
What does that look like? What does that look like, Mitchell? So when you say you go and you work hard, what does that working hard look like for you in terms of developing your darts game? Are you committing serious hours to practicing, or is it about quality over quantity? What does that look like to keep improving so quickly?
Well, I'd definitely say, to be honest, just not being lazy was one of them. Like, my dad would be like, right, you coming down on the board? I'd be like, no, I wouldn't. Like, I'll be down in like 2 hours. I'm playing my PlayStation or something. So I just changed that attitude right away. Quality over quantity. I've always said if it's bad practice, I'll just stop doing it for a bit. I'll give myself like 10, 15 minutes and then come back on the board, because it's pointless just doing stuff that's bad. It just gets you into bad habits. So I've always just treated it that way. But yeah, I put a lot more hours on the board than what I usually would. And if I'm not practicing, I'm out playing darts. And when I have weekend breaks, shall we say, I'm trying to play tournaments around the local area, or I will just go out and enjoy myself with my friends.
Cool. Love that. Love that. You've got, the thing is that at your age, Mitchell, you've got to be able to still have a social life, even if you are in the sort of sphere that you are. Looking ahead, obviously, it's not been a bad start to the year, has it? Looking back, world number one now in the WDF system, and obviously winning on the JDC tour as well this week in the Advanced Tour, hitting 3 of the 4 titles. Obviously, coming off the back of the fact as well, you were runner-up as well in the World Championship, which is remarkable achievement for someone so young. What do you think that the sky is? Where's the limit for you at the moment? Because everybody is obviously talking about the fact that it's good that you and Luke Littler are eventually going to meet down the line in the PDC. So what is the sky for you? What's the goal this year?
I don't really have a goal this year, to be honest, because I think the sky is the limit, to be honest, right now, with the ability and the way I'm playing. I know I've got everything in the locker. Sometimes I won't play as well as what I have been, and it's people say you've had a bad game. Yeah, maybe I have had a bad game, but people are very harsh on you quickly as well online. One bad tournament doesn't define me. I know what I've got, and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest about it. The fact that you won, what was it, 5 of the 6 tournaments last year in the youth system, if memory serves me correctly, certainly in the major system, the platinum system in the WDF, showed that you're not exactly a bad player. So if someone's saying to you that you had a bit of a crap game, then you can quite rightly tell them to where exactly to go. I guess the big thing is, from our point of view, is that obviously, do you think that this year is more about trying to continue that development? Obviously, you're still only 15. You won't turn 16 until November, if memory serves me correctly. I think that's where your birthday is. So if that's the case, then this year for you is, I wouldn't say it's a free hit, because obviously nothing ever is. But obviously, come January, you have the option of going to Q School. You have the option of playing on the development tour next year. Is that where you're looking to maybe put yourself? Or are you just happy to continue to develop your game, as it were?
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait. I'm actually scratching to go and do stuff like that. I want to go play the best players. I want to just go and showcase that. I know the WDF system is really hard. And a lot of people have been saying online, wait, we'll see what he's like when he gets to the PDC and stuff like that. I want to go see what I'm like when I get to the PDC. As soon as we're going to Q School in January 2027, I nearly said 26.
That'd be a surprise.
Yeah, obviously. My birthday's not the best, to be honest. November, it's a bit of a killer, to be honest. It kind of misses everything. So I won't even get to play 1 month of development tour, but next year I'll be playing development tour and hopefully pro tour.
I suppose the question is winning Lakeside for you a big priority before you make that switch, or are you not bothered if you win it or not?
No, I definitely want to win it, because I'll be playing in it. So if I'm playing in something, I want to win it. That's just my mentality. I hate losing. I despise it. As many people know, whoever knows me. Every time I play, I want to win. As I've said in many interviews before, I don't care if I'm playing my dad at FIFA or my wee sister in the house. I want to beat him. I hate losing.
I'm sure you can find a good use for 50 grand as well, couldn't you? You know, there are a few perks to winning, even regardless of what you then go on to do next.
Yeah, well, my mum and dad don't let me move out, so I guess it would need to be a car if I did win it somehow.
Yeah, I'm sure you'd
somehow would be a car.
I love that.
I'll ask the question, considering the fact that of the move and the noise that happened on social media. What do you think about going to Las Vegas for the World Masters in July?
Well, we would have been going, but I've picked a holiday with my friends to go to Tenerife. So that's
nice. Nice. Like it.
We come back, we've got the Europe Cup, and that finishes on the 12th, and we fly back on the 13th. So right. Even if I wasn't going on holiday, there'd be no chance. My body would be done in, you know, jet lag. I'd trying to get over there and get used to the times over there stuff as well. It just wouldn't be great. We would do it if I wasn't going on holiday, but would I be able to perform to my best? We don't know.
Is it a disappointment that you won't get the chance to defend your title?
Yeah, obviously I'm upset. Yeah, it is. When you put it into that perspective, yeah, it does hurt. You know, I've worked so hard and I've went and won my title. I want to defend it. I want to go over there and show people why I'm the world number one. But, you know, I'm sure whoever wins over there will be a great player anyway. I know there's a lot of people in the UK system that aren't going over because obviously the money and stuff like that. It is a lot of money as well. I think we were even looking at flights. I think the cheapest flight you could get was like $1,500. So it wasn't going to be cheap, and obviously Las Vegas in summer, it's going to be roasting hot as well. So we'd all be, us Scots, we'd die. We'd have no chance.
Look, you're speaking to two gingers and a bold guy here at this point. We understand the struggle. We understand the struggle.
I've been to Vegas in July. I can tell you, it is not pleasant. It's good, but it's not pleasant. You are literally running air conditioning.
Yeah.
No. I suppose that everyone knows of your love of Gary Anderson. Now, Gary's career is at the twilight, shall we say. Yours is just the beginning. Is that one goal you'd like to tick off and play the great Gary Anderson in a PDC event before he goes?
Yeah, I'd love to do it in a major stage as well. You know, obviously he's my hero growing up. He's the reason I played darts and stuff. Watching a Scottish person go and win world championships and stuff, you know, it makes you. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know. He made me fall in love with the game, to be honest. And yeah, he's just a great dart player and an even better guy.
How much did you enjoy that experience at the Hydro, getting the walk on, getting on the stage, and just giving you a taste of what could happen in a few years?
Yeah, to be honest, the stage was great. I'm just happy I didn't fall when I was walking up the stairs. That was my main goal. As long as I didn't fall, it would all be good and great. The reception I got was great as well. It was like half full, the whole stadium when I walked in. I couldn't believe it. Everybody there was just so nice and kind, and you know, it was great. The PDC were great with me.
Well, just one. I just thought about asking a question, and obviously the comparisons will be there with a certain Mr. Littler. And I just want to talk about it from a young player's point of view, because obviously Luke has gone into the stratosphere and done a load of different. What has it done, do you think, for the young players in the game? Because obviously now, unfortunately for you, everyone's going to try and compare you to Luke. And I think that's extraordinarily unfair because he's done all what he's done. But what has it done, do you think, for the young players in the game? Your age coming through, all those players that are just starting to take up darts. Well, have you seen a massive change in the sort of age bracket, if you like?
Absolutely. You know, there's people that play darts that are unbelievable talents. They probably wouldn't know how good they were at darts if it wasn't for Littler. They'd probably be sticking playing football and stuff. I mean, I'm happy I'm good at darts because school was not my thing. School was terrible. I hate it. If I had to do school, I'd probably been kicked out by now and had to go up with my grandpa. Yeah, but I'm still in it. I'm still plodding away in school. But no, Littler's done everything for our game, to be honest. The youth game is where it is because of him. But, you know, all the stuff was there where the JDC and the PDC, and that's what he went through, and the WDF. He liked his WDF circuit stuff. Yeah, it's just, he's done a lot for the game.
Love that. You touched on the JDC there, the facility. I've been to Hangar 61. What a facility that is for you youth players now within that. And what was it like hitting the 9 there as well?
Yeah, hitting the 9 was great. Sorry, kind of cool. Hitting the 9 was great. My manager Jamie's actually sitting next to me now. He gave me into trouble. I kept going treble 15, and he's been giving me into trouble for going treble 15 for double 18. He says double 18's the worst double on the board. So I went, right, well, he's behind me, or so I thought he was behind me. I'll go treble 19, double 12. Turns out my dad asked him to go get him some chewing gum and he missed the 9 darter, so he wasn't that happiest.
I love that. That's amazing. Love that. This carefree attitude that you've got, it's so refreshing, and I'm just getting the sense that you don't put any pressure on yourself whatsoever.
No, I would say I have a standard. I know what I can do. I've done everything I've wanted to do now. Maybe about a year and a half ago, I'd put a lot of pressure on myself. But now I know I have a target at my back, so I know everybody's going to play better when they play me. So I'm just used to it by now. The amount of people that, I'm not a big one that looks at the draw. I'll wait till I get called, to be honest. But there's some people come up to me, oh, you've got him next year 50 average, then he plays you and he's a 70, 80 average. So that's why I just don't look at the draw at all. I'm just, when I get called, that's when I go at my bold, whoever I play is who I play.
We don't know the dates yet, or they might be out, but I haven't seen them. The PDC World Championship qualifier, if it falls right and you are 16, would you go and give it a shot?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'd be there. Yeah. Yes. I think last year it was about 3 or 2 days after my birthday or before it.
I know last year that the non-tour card holder qualifier. So I'm just throwing it. If it falls right, would you go and give it a shot?
Yeah, if it falls right, I'd definitely be there. I'd love to do it again, to be back up in that stage. I loved it when I went there and played in my youth final, just being in there and being in the players' room and just soaking in the atmosphere, even the practice area before you go up on stage, you don't see that. You don't see that when you watch the players. And even in there, that's probably a better setup than what it is in my house. Not even got a bad setup in the house as well.
That's absolutely superb. I love that. And look, would you? I'm guessing if you go to Q-School and get a card, you're never going to say no to it. But does part of you want to do a year on the development tour first, or do you think, sod it, I'm going to jump in 2 feet?
Nah, I'd love to jump in 2 feet. I'd like to just go for it. I think anyway, if you're not in the top 64 or 32, it's one of the two. You can play the year of development tour. 64. You can play the year of development tour anyway. I'd love to just go in and just play the best of the best. It's what I want to do. If you look at me when I play better players, that's when my game's up high. If you know yourself, when you play a better player, you're going to play better. If you don't play as good a player, you'll maybe not play as well. But I was really bad for that about 2 or 3 years ago. I was when I would not play a player that I knew wasn't as good as me. That's not me being bad. I would, this will be fine. Now I'm just trying to keep that standard for every game I play. Just trying to play the same way I would, even if I wasn't playing somebody that's as well as me. I'd say when I'm playing people and say I'm on 303 and they're on 425 or something, I'll still go for the 19s because it just gets you into that regular type of thing to do when you're playing these people and you need to hit 133 and 171.
Yep.
That's class. I'm just going to pick up something you said there, which has got me thinking. You're only 15, and you said 2 or 3 years ago when I was playing players that I was better than. When did you realise then, hang on a minute, I'm actually very good at this?
I think the first time I went to a Scottish thing, I got to 2 semi-finals, and the best player in Scotland at the time bet me 4-2, and I missed a lot of doubles against him, and I thought, these lot ain't much better than me. And I know if I put the hours in, then I'll get there eventually. Once I won my first one in Scotland, it just kind of went from there. I went on a JDC Foundation tour, and I won that whole thing. And it's just since then it's went off. I think last year in the advanced tours, kind of when I realised how good I was and started playing really well, because I maybe went from hitting 70 to 75 to 80s, and being really happy with it, to then hitting 90s and 95s, and that's now when I'm really happy, and that's when I feel like I'm playing my best darts. I've had already 2 games in advance tour with 100 pluses, and I'm running at a 90 for the weekend, but I don't really care about averages. A lot of people will say that to you. I'm more just focused on how you win. If I win, that's all I care about. I don't look at averages. I'd rather win 4-0 with a 50 average than lose 4-0 with a 120 average.
Are you going to use the Gary Anderson line at some point then? Just here to play darts.
That's all I want to do. That's all I want to do. Just play darts. That's all I want to do.
That's it. No pictures on a scorecard.
Mitchell, thank you so much for joining us. I know you've got to go and play tonight, mate. So thank you so much for jumping on and joining us.
He's just got to play darts. It's all
the very best.
He's just got to play darts.
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you.
Mitchell,
Cheers,
Lawrie,
Mitchell. Take care, mate.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Cheers. He's cool, that kid, isn't he?
I love that. That was class.
Yeah, it's more promising, nice. Look, little glimpses into the future, which is quite exciting. And yeah, I think Paul mentioned in the chat room there that there is going to be, and this is, look, let's be honest, like we ain't going to escape from it. And he is going to be the first Mitchell Lawrie. He's not the second Luke Littler. But in terms of things being promising and looking at where things can go, the numbers, the standard that Mitchell is producing, that's what we saw. That's what we saw from Luke at a similar age. That's the level that Luke was at there. So it does show us that there is potentially another, real heavy hitter, real big future ahead of that young man. Very impressive.
Sorry, mate. I was just going to say, I have a very, I don't think it's really my spidey senses. I think it's just a genuine fact that I think for a long time, we will be seeing Luke Littler versus Mitchell Lawrie for big pots in the PDC. Yes.
He speaks, I reckon, very well as well. He's clear, he mentioned, I think he undersells himself talking about, how he gets on at school, because he's clearly a bright kid and he comes across well, and he's, he speaks well, he's eloquent, he communicates well, which is, these are all the things that, yes, as darts continues to grow and these future stars come through, like, yes, we want amazing dart players, but there's so much more to go to that as well. How many conversations have we had about the total package, the shoulder content, all the other stuff that you need. Boxes. Yeah, the stuff that you want, because you need some exhibition income, and you want to be able to be considered that they can put you in an event and you can be interviewed, you can be on TV, and they're like already at a very young age, that young and he ticks all those boxes because he comes across really well. He's already a very good representative of the sport.
No, I completely agree. And look, let's do our take on the Masters before Neil gets here. Obviously, the news broke at the weekend that the WDF Masters will not be in Hungary. It is going to Las Vegas. It was an interesting place, social media, over the weekend because of it.
I ain't got an issue with it. Personally, should I say the only thing I have an issue with, genuinely, the two things I have an issue with, one, that it's near the World Cup, and obviously flight. I know that by that point, most of the games in the Football World Cup are going to be on Eastern time and not out in the West. So, but obviously, still flights are still going to be horrendously expensive. And two, it's match play week. The end of it is at the match play. So it means the end of it is the start of the World Match Play. So it means that no one will be paying that much attention to it.
I think there's
with the best one in the world, to WDF on that front, but the World Match Play will be getting significant more attention than the WDF World Masters. And
the next layer beyond that, though, is like I was on Skyscanner just before we came on, just having a play around, like if you were to fly on this date, if you fly on that date. I think sometimes there is, and I'm going to say, there is a bit of a, I'm not even going to say a London bias, but let's say a Southeast bias, because everybody assumes that it's a piece of piss to get a flight from London Heathrow. And the flights from London Heathrow, you're still looking at like a proper lump. But that is a pain in the ass to an awful lot of people, even in Britain, and then you start to look at where you would fly from mainland Europe and whether you can go direct, where you got to change. I think one of the most, the clashes I think that frustrates me the most is the problem I have is the erosion of quality. Like I want it to be the strongest tournament that it can be. You want the best set of players, as with every darts tournament, you want the best set of players in that tournament, and you don't want to erode the quality at all. Now, geographically, it's a big challenge to a lot of players that are up at the top end of of the ranking. And then you've got up at the top end, so within the top 10, you've got, well, if you want to go top 11, just because it makes the point better, you've got 4 North Americans in the top 11 of the rankings, but it clashes with a CDC event.
Yes. That's another big issue as well.
So then you've already took, so your number one's not there. And then you've got the others in your top 12, top 15 have got a very challenging, very expensive return. I was with 950 return from Heathrow is great, but it's not great if you live in Glasgow. Like that's the point I was making. Like Heathrow is only convenient if you live close to Heathrow. It's frustrating because I do believe we will see an erosion of quality. Like the quality of players in that tournament won't be as good as it could be if it was somewhere else or on a different date. And that, I think, as a darts fan, you've got to think, well, that's not as good, is it? Like as a darts fan, surely you would prefer more of the better players to be in any tournament that you're watching.
So I've got a couple of bits on this. First of all, I'm led to believe that it was Vegas or nothing. Hungary wasn't on the table. It was this.
What does that? I'm really sorry to jump in, Phil, and you're going to have to treat me like I'm stupid, right? And this will be when I get pelters in the chat room for being thick. But when they say Vegas or nothing because Hungary wasn't on the table, I can list loads of other places, that aren't Hungary or Las Vegas. Yeah. Like why is Vegas the only other place that it could have took place? Am I being thick there? I'm happy to.
They're putting up the prize money, the same as Hungary did for the last 2 years. They're putting up everything.
Got you.
So
okay. I'll get you.
In terms of financials, I believe the WDF don't have the funds to run it without someone putting money into it, like Hungary did. And Vegas on it. So from a tournament point of view, it was there or nothing. Now, long term, I like it. My issue with a couple of bits of it is one, when they've announced it, we've got no prize money, we've got no prize fund, so players don't know what they're playing for. As a player, when you're committing the amount of funds that you're going to have to commit to be there for a week, travel, you should know what you're playing for when that announcement comes out. 2 is the timing. Giving players 3.5 months to find those funds when most of them would have been thinking the Masters will be in October again. Whether it's in Hungary or whether it moves or not is another matter. So Lorraine Hyde, for instance, that she's defending the women's Masters title. She's already said that I don't think I'm going to be there because I can't get the funds together in this short time. So now all of a sudden, neither of your defending champions are there. So the timing is an issue for me. The other thing, which is ridiculous, is the World Championship qualifier is also happening that weekend. Now, forget darts. In any sport, the qualifier, in my opinion, should be the last chance saloon. You have tried everything possible to get to and qualify for what you're trying to qualify for, and you have a one shot left, the qualifier. The qualifier is happening in July, so my guess is that everyone's going to enter it to make sure they try and get their spot at Lakeside, but then there is multiple opportunities after the World qualifier for these players to then qualify. So let's just say Bob Jones wins a spot in the qualifier, and then 3 or 4 weeks later goes and wins a gold event, a platinum event, and gets in automatically. I would presume that winning a gold or a platinum supersedes coming through the qualifier. But then what happens to that qualifying space? I think that's a mess.
Again, I can't argue with that one, Philip. It's logic, isn't it? You can't argue with it.
As I say, my headline is like, and this is, and it's not. I'm stamping my feet, and it is what it is. And But I don't think, and I haven't seen anybody do it yet. I have seen people come out and say, I don't know if I have seen anybody say anything positive, or if I think it seems to be a bit of a sort of, I mean, there's we've had it a bit in the chat room. It's a bit of like, what will be, will be. It is what it is. It is what, we mustn't grumble. And I just think, well, if you are a darts fan, you must surely want, you want to see the number one. You want to see the world number one. You want to see the world number 3. You want to see the world number 7. You want to see those players. You want to see them all in the same tournament playing each other. And I think when you don't get what I think is going to be a large chunk, like a big chunk of the top 20, I look at the top 20 now, and I look at who I know isn't going to go, who is going to be playing something else at the same time. I just think you're going to look at that list of players who's in that tournament and go, and it just erodes it, and then it detracts away from the achievement. I think someone's going to lift that trophy at the end, and maybe people like me will say, "Yeah, but." There'll be a but. There's an asterisk after it. You won it, but. You won it, but there was one of the top 20 in the tournament. So,
we said that, didn't we, back in November or October? When everyone went, why the hell has Luke Littler gone to the World Grand Prix to the World Youth Championship qualifiers? If Hian and Bo had got through to the final, and just like they did, and he hadn't been playing, the asterisk would have been there, wouldn't there? Well, the best two, but Luke Littler hasn't been playing.
Yes,
but because he did play, the asterisk isn't there.
Yeah, correct.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
But I just think if you haven't got 18 of the top 20 at an event, there is an asterisk, isn't there? There is you do look at it and go, well, yeah. And I think when you have got a tournament that has over a period of years become, let's say, its prestige has been eroded, come down. It is less prestigious than it once was. It's just further pulling it along that way. And
before people, before people go in the chat room and suggest all we want to do is bash the WDF, we don't. The amateur game is so important. Better. Yeah, I was just going to say, the amateur game is so important for any sport, and we've said that countless times on the show. Yeah, it's not about, we're not trying to say that the WDF and the PDC are on the same stratosphere and they're doing this and do that. They're not. We fully understand that. What we want to try to do is for players who are amateurs, and I use the word amateurs loosely, non-professional tour card holders in the PDC, we want them to have the best opportunity to still earn an absolute decent chunk of change, and for them to know exactly what they're playing for, and for the WDF itself to be in a very healthy state. So please don't say here on the show and say that all we want to do is bash the WDF, because that's not what we want to do.
100% not. However, with perfect timing, as we're talking about this,
here he is.
Our second guest has arrived. Ladies and gentlemen, we have waited 84 years for this moment. The Duff man is here. Neil, how are we doing, buddy?
That's the day of flying pigs, eh? Yeah, I'm good.
Good.
How you doing?
Good to have you on at last, buddy.
Yeah, I've been ducking and diving for long enough now. I think the time has come.
I did pin him down, I don't know if you heard. When we were in Minehead, I said to Phil, because we don't get to be in the same room very often, and I said to him, when they because I have my wish list, when are we getting this guest? I said, when is Neil Duff coming on? And he said, oh look, I'll try. I promise I will try. And he texted me about 2 days later. I was like, here we go, we sorted. We saw some breaking news, and I thought, all right, I get it now. I get it.
I caught the last week's show maybe a day or a day and a half later, and I heard it, and I said, "Gonna have to get on." And I kind of thought, just with the scope of sort of few WDF things there lately, I thought, yeah, I may as well come on and have a say. But it's not going to be a WDF bashing session either. Phil Bars.
It's not what we do.
It's not what we do on
Yeah.
this show.
Phil likes to walk me down the path, though.
Whoa!
Who, him? Never.
I asked you a question. How you answer that question is completely up to you.
Yeah.
I've even gone dry this week because I knew I could get myself in bother this week. I decided, I thought, I'm not having it. I'll get the sparkling water cup of tea. I'm staying well away, not getting drawn into it.
I've had so many warnings. Neil, please behave. Don't say anything that you shouldn't say. So yeah, best behaviour tonight.
Good, quite right.
Should we go into it then, Neil? Should we go into it? Should we go straight off the bat? You going to Vegas, are you, sir?
Straight and no kissing, yeah.
Absolutely.
Actually, I am going. Yeah, I'm going.
Oh, lovely.
Booked up and got my travel visa and all sorted. So yeah, I'm going. It was as big a surprise to me as anyone else. But look, the logistics of it, and I know you were talking there about the flights and stuff you got there, and but I'm flying from Zurich, and it works out so much cheaper.
I thought you would be. I was looking at that. You're better off sometimes from the UK flying to Europe and then going backwards to go forwards, aren't you?
Anyone wants to go get a cheap flight to Zurich and then go from there. It's like under £600.
Or a little hack. You can do the same from Dublin. Just get a cheap flight to Dublin and then fly Dublin direct.
I think my manager had looked kind of at Dublin because they're going to be in Ireland for the Europe Cup with Mitchell, and it wasn't working out so cheap. I think Dublin was flying to London first.
Really, I say normally going Dublin to America works out quite cheap. So I've done it for New York before.
Well, I think whenever they looked at it, the cheapest flights was Dublin via London. So I don't know whether that works.
I understand that you're in quite a privileged position, obviously, that you can afford to do it. But people that are chasing points, changing it at this short notice, is it right? Like long term, like I said earlier, long term, I like the move, and I think it's a good move. But short term, is it fair? Like we touched on, like Lorraine, for instance, who is not going to be able to defend her title and her ranking points because of the change such short notice. And I'm just using Lorraine as an example where there'll be many others in that situation as well.
Yeah, but the thing is, it'll never always be fair to everyone. I get the timing and stuff is a little brutal. But like you nailed it, if it's not Vegas, there'll be no World Masters this year. I think behind the scenes, don't quote me, but I think the Irish organisation was trying to have it in Dublin, but it didn't come to fruition. So Vegas, personally, I was shocked, but I think on the long-term plan, it's a great deal, I think. And this year will be a wee bit different because it's such short notice and people just can't afford it. I'm one of the lucky few that's sponsored, so my sponsor team, management team will look after me that way. But next year, hopefully they get the dates out straight after this year, so people wanting to go can pick up flights to the Black Friday sale, stuff like that there, and make it affordable. But at the moment, we haven't had anything from the WDF regards the hotel prices. There's been no package has been put forward yet. As you said, there's no prize money been put forward yet, but I'm assuming it's going to be no less than the last 2 years. We'll have to wait and see on that one.
You'd like to hope so, wouldn't you? You would like to think that it's not going to reduce. You would like to think you're playing for what has been played for recently.
100%. The last thing you want to see is any organisation start to go backwards.
Yeah.
I think this is a step forward. I think at the end of the day, there's probably chance there's going to be a far better stream and stuff for it, a more professional stream. I think speaking to some of the players, they enjoyed Hungary. Hungary it wasn't expensive. it's a beautiful city to be in.
Yeah.
It was beautiful for me because my in-laws come from there. So,
Oh,
yeah. But yeah, so it did come as a shock. I think people were kind of planning October again for the Masters. But yeah, just got to jump onto it, and I hope the people that can manage to get there get there. It will be interesting to see if the allocated places change to suit America and Canada. I know every country gets allocated so many players, but I know Northern Ireland will probably not send a lot of players. I don't know. I can't see too many of them going. England, Netherlands, I don't know. But yeah, it's early stages yet. So the next couple of weeks will tell a tale on actually where we're sitting with it.
no, I fully agree. Let's talk about you, because you've been quiet recently. We haven't seen a lot of Neil Duff floating around in tournaments and so on. Where is the Neil Duff game, and what's Neil Duff up to at the moment?
But the thing is, I had set out at the start of the year that was going to be ADC would take preference over WDF, and then kind of Aylesbury clashed with something else, and something else clashed with something else, and I've been doing a few exhibitions and stuff, and then I think I've had 3 weeks in Moda since Christmas, so I have. So I'll never turn that down.
Yeah,
So I won't. So yeah, I've still been keeping busy. So I have. The calendar just keeps getting busier and busier now. I'm but I'm able to pick and choose which WDF competitions to go to, just to keep myself in a lakeside place. But also ADC Global still very much in the sights. But I can do that there if I win Champions Week next month.
Well, I was going to say, you going to be nicking the nickname the History Maker as the Duff Man gone, and we're going to call you the History Maker now because you've taken that crown another Champions Week, and we saw what it meant to you.
Yeah, we've talked about it. We've talked about it down there. All I ever set out down there was to set a legacy to be in the top, and yeah, and now I've pushed on. I've kind of set myself above the rest of them now, and I need to keep winning because I'll keep chasing the Scott Taylors and guys that got there. I wish they'd all piss off and get tour cards, you know.
So on that, Neil. So obviously, like you said, that you've got a plan for this year. You know what this year looks like, and there's some players there that are kicking around that you're beating that might go and get a tour card. Now, if you're, and what is that then? So what's the plan? Next 3 to 5 years for your darts game? Are you happy, comfortable, content with what's going on at the minute, or do you have that burning desire to think, I want to go and grab a tour card and go and explore a bit of something else?
I think that's been widely publicised that I never ever had a burning ambition to go and get a tour card. The standard in that there just keeps going up, but for me, I'm enjoying playing darts. I can go to Modus and I can enjoy it. I can sit back. There's no pressure on me to do well. I've seen so many players that go across, they get their tour card and they think that's the be all and end all, and then it doesn't really work out for them. I mean, they have to be on their game. They have to be hitting that right from the start. Josh, he was lucky. He wasn't lucky. He did it the right way. Had a brilliant first year, moved and pushed himself up there. But there's a lot of players that I played with in the WDF circuit as well, who's went there and they've not done it. And I think it's purely because of the pressure that's on them to do well, to perform, to keep a tour card, to make money. And I don't want to be like that. Between Modus, ADC, WDF, exhibitions, I'm enjoying playing. I'm enjoying traveling. And I wouldn't want the pressure of having to perform ruin the game for me.
Well, just on that. Sorry, Peter. I just wanted to just pick up on that. Like, do you think? I know this might sound a bit of a stupid question, if you like, Neil. That's fine. I'm used to doing these sorts of stupid questions on the show. But do we think that obviously that pressure that you mentioned for players who are definitely who are certainly under the top 64, because realistically, you going on playing Modus, ADC, WDF, and everything else, you could earn more money than any one of those tour card and exhibitions as well. You could earn more money than them this year playing on the PDC circuit.
He's already picked up more. He's already picked up more than half the bottom end of the PDC tour card. That's the challenge, isn't it?
And that's exactly my point. When I come back to what you were saying there about the pressure, do you think that for players who are outside the top 64, do you think that possibly the PDC might want to try and give them a little bit more opportunities to earn money? Maybe, for example, go and have a week down at Modus. Maybe go and let them play elsewhere. I appreciate the contracts, everything like that. Well, I get that for you. I get that for you.
Got the doors.
but do you think though that would actually maybe release some of the pressure on those players? Like, for example, the player you beat in the World Championship final a few years ago, Thibaut Tricol. He's kept his car reasonably well, but he's still scratching around the bottom end of the tour. Do you think that opening it up to those players outside, 64, maybe 96 to 128, that might release some of the pressure on those players potentially?
The thing is, honestly, and without picking any one player, I actually think that their own arrogance, they wouldn't even do it. They wouldn't take it. They a lot of players I have spoke to who I have played, they get that tour card and they think that's the be all and end all. I'm a professional dart player. And they don't see past that. I know players that I played with internationals, and they got tour cards and they would hardly speak to you now because they just think that the PDC is the upper echelons and that's it. So yeah, it wouldn't change me. I wouldn't want it to change me. But I understand what you're saying, but I'm probably making more money outside above anybody outside the top 64. So, and I can play where I want. I can pick and choose where I play, and and long may it continue. And so these guys get a tour card, and then they have to travel to Germany. They have to win a game before they even start to see a return.
Yeah, that's
pressure. That's proper pressure. Steve West done a great interview on it whenever he lost his tour card. About it, he was going there with the pressure of he was playing to get the money to tax his car or to pay his mortgage. That's not a great way to live either. No. And some people are motivated by money. Some people are dart players are motivated. The money motivates them, but I'm not that person either. I've never asked for more than a penny more than I can spend.
No, I get that.
Like that.
But is there? I know you said that you're happy that you can play where you want, but somewhere deep down, is there just a small part of you that thinks, before I pack up, just give me one shot at it to see what I can do?
Yeah, but again, I would do
earlier. That's what I was wondering. Is there because you know that, like, there's players on there and you see them go and do stuff and you think, they'll go and win a Pro Tour event or they'll go and do something on a Euro Tour and you must thinking, I beat him those times. I can beat him.
I this year, I sat on Phil's show and watched Q School as it unravel.
Yeah.
And I'm like just going down a list of people that had smashed up in Modus or somewhere else, and it does get the cogs turning. It makes you going, nah. Maybe should have. But then you also see players who played in the national teams and stuff in the WDF system, and they're doing absolutely nothing. They're going there and it's just turning up, getting beat, going home. And me and Gary Stone talked about this here. Whenever Gary got his tour card, Gary will freely tell you that it ruined him as a player. It ruined him. He gets so demoralised. He's going out every other week and he's going to Pro Tours and losing first round to 106 average. And his game was never the same after that there. So maybe as I'm getting to the end of my career, I would give it a bash, but I'm not going to put myself in a position where I have to do it.
Yeah.
No, I get that. And Rob's asked in the chat room, What's the dart scene like in Switzerland? And do you play much in Switzerland now you're over there?
I played one competition last Christmas. The SDC is there's two. There's the SDC, the SD Corporation, which Stephen Belmont not there, but he played in, and the SDA, which is kind of runs the leagues and county system, which I refuse to play in for personal reasons. But the SDC, they have a tour championship that runs all year round. You buy a tour card or you can buy a day ticket. So last year, the Sunday before Christmas, they had their big finale. This is the big one to cap off the end of the year. And the Duff man swaggered up, paid us £55 and won it. Beat Stephen Belmont the semis.
There you go.
In the final. And I've been looking to get back. They do have one next month, kind of the weekend before I head to Portsmouth for Champions Week, which is a double-in, double-out one. Suits me lovely. So I might give that a bash. But other than that, there's a lot of soft tip, which I wouldn't mind getting into as well at some point. I just need Thomas Youngans to show me how it all works. But yeah, no, obviously, whenever I'm home for a while, I'm not really home a lot anyway. If I'm home for 3-4 weeks, Dominic and I have discussed that maybe I should spend kind of 2 weeks in the UK, 2 weeks in Switzerland. I'm actually in Northern Ireland at the minute, so I've been playing a few vaults and stuff there last week, which keeps you match sharp, which I'm probably missing. When in Switzerland, you can practice all you want, but you need that competitive edge, and that's where the vaults are brilliant because it's best of 3, so you're straight into it. And if you can kind of go at them as a practice session, so yeah, it's definitely something I'm going to have to think about.
From a personal point of view, is that tough splitting your time between 2 countries?
It's tough splitting my time with my daughters and my time at home with Dominica. Fortunately, Dominica's a bit of a garden background, so and very much a sporting background, so she 100% stands behind me all the time. Would actually tell me to get off my fat ass and have a practice and stuff, So she kind of pushes me. She started playing a little bit now. We were in Slovakia a couple of weeks ago, and she played one of the WDF tournaments. And so if she starts playing more, then maybe I'll start playing more. But as I say, I'm just picking out picking and choosing where I want to play.
Yeah, no, I like it. Going back to obviously you and your game, Lakeside this year never happened for you. Normally, you're Mr. Reliable at Lakeside. Can you put your finger on what went wrong?
Yeah, the place was empty. The place was empty, dead empty. So, and I'm not bashing the WDF, not bashing the Excel system. There was about 30 people in the night I played. The kitchen has been closed at the Lakeside, so they had 2 fast food vans out the back. So you order your food, and they give you one of the little vibrating buzzers.
Yeah. With
the lights on. So people are going out and ordering and then coming in. And an empty Lakeside and these buzzers going off.
Oh, God.
Which was kind of got stuck in my head right from the start. So don't get me wrong, I underperformed. Ben played well. I let him boss me, which should have been the other way around. But yeah, I do appreciate a bit of a crowd in the place, and it lets you focus more. So it does. So yeah, I definitely underachieved, but I still think that there's a bit of history still to be made in that stage yet.
Does that almost fire you up because of the disappointment to go back and put it right?
Yeah, of course. This has been my mental the whole time in notice. Whoever I lose to on Monday, I make a point of going out and beating them on Tuesday. That's how I look at the game. If I go out, win 3, lose 2, then them 2 guys that beat me on Monday are on my hit list on Tuesday and Wednesday. and that's, and I think even it takes little things to motivate me more. The last one I was at, I had a terrible Tuesday, absolute shocker. It was snatchy as hell. And I ended up, I was 8 points behind Adam Mould getting into Wednesday. And we were sitting in the players' room and they flashed the bookies, put the betting up. I was 25-1 to win the group, which 8 points behind, which is completely, I get it. But just that itself motivated me. And I done the card and ended up losing the thing on leg difference. You know, so sometimes you need that little bit of edge just to keep you going, you know. Yeah,
I like that. That's class. I want to take you back to what you said when we put it out that you were coming on. I love the fact that everyone's gone, Neil, don't say anything. Look, we've done some great interviews over the last 4 or 5 years. I know the people at WDF don't like me. I can accept that. I'm a good boy. However,
a lot of people in this chat don't like you.
No, there is that as well.
There are two people that.
The thing is, though,
there are
Neil, every time they call him names, we get paid.
Yeah,
It's a brilliant system.
Neil, there are two people on this channel that have to host with him every week that aren't necessarily the biggest fans of him, but we still have to deal with him.
Yeah.
But when you come out and say,
why do you think you think you've replaced the other people?
That's how it works, isn't it? As you know.
When you've come out and said some of the things that you've said before, and look, I think you've been bang on with some of it, by the way. What's that then like when you then go back to a WDF competition or someone a higher up reads what you've said, and do they give you shit for it?
No, not really. Nick Rose is one of the easiest guys in the world to speak to. Anything I say is my personal opinion. And yeah, I have probably been known to be outspoken. I will call a spade a spade. I did it this week. I spoke to you about it, about these gold competitions. And I have a good, strong views on that. But I spoke to Nick, and no, I don't say it to harm the organisation in any way. That's not what I'm trying to do. But I do like to have my say, and if other people agree with me, then maybe the organisations will consider that maybe he's right. Maybe there is a different way to do this. Yeah, I think probably the federations themselves, the actual top brass, are brand new. They're brilliant. I probably lost a few friends over the Noel Lynn interview we did. But I wasn't vicious with anyone. I said and this is the thing, this is what people don't get. Whenever you're a dart player, whenever you're in the public eye, it's like you've just surrendered your right to have an opinion on. You have an opinion, people just jump over you for it, which I don't mind. It really doesn't bother me. I'll always say what I think I'm thinking, and that's just me. I'll never change that way. But I'm also the first one to praise whenever these organisations do something right. Yeah. 2 years ago, I would have been quite hard on England darts and the way the competitions were run, and there's a bit of new, fresh blood in there, and they listened to me. They took it on board. They switched to Darts Connect. They switched off the microphone, which is absolute pet hate of mine. I went down to Chelsea. It ran like clockwork. I won it. But the minute I walked off the stage, the moment I walked off the stage, my prize money was in my bank account, and that's brilliant. And I can't. And I was the first one to go on to social media and say what a great job they've done. So I'm not always the villain.
Just pretend to be. You just pretend to be.
Yeah, no, 100%. And if you can have a word with Nick, we keep trying to get him on the channel, but he just ignores my messages now. So if you want to have a word in his ear,
He is a good bloke.
Come on, if Phil isn't on. He'd have to.
Yes.
He'd have to replace you for the night, Phil. You'd have to have him out on you.
Yeah.
It'll all be fine.
He actually is. His heart's completely in the right place, and buddies, and all of them. They're trying. They are trying. I have knocked them in the past, but there's a bigger picture to the whole thing. They're quite new to running these majors. WDF are just the umbrella. Now they're thrown into running these major events, and it doesn't always work. But people are so quick to jump onto them. I put a post up. I don't know if you've seen it. The first day of the UK Open, whenever the scoring system went down, and I just put a post up just to say, it's technology. It happens. It happens. But where's everyone jumping all over this here and amateurish and this, that, and the other? You know. But, sometimes they'll just not be forgiven for their mistakes. That's the worry.
It's a thankless task, isn't it? Because, like you say, you know, I genuinely think that everybody there does their best, and it's very easy to sit on the sidelines not doing it, and I've been guilty of it plenty of times and saying, well, that's crap, that's not how I'd do it, but I'm not doing it. Someone else has put in the work in and try, you know, and it's difficult to, you know, balance everything, keep everybody. You can't keep all the people happy all the time, can you?
No, but that's the thing, and also the fact is, you get people who sit at home waiting to be offended, waiting to be annoyed about something. That's the highlight of the day. I won Saturday night, what was last Saturday night, and I had a running average of 93, I think, for the whole night. And then I got a message from a guy who'd done about 3 paragraphs telling me what I did wrong.
Helpful.
And I'm like, I don't even know this guy. I haven't a clue who he is. And obviously, his pedigree obviously a lot better than mine. But but obviously, just happy to sit there and be judgmental. It's just society today is just that's the way it is.
Just seen a question in here actually before we let you go, Neil.
I was going to answer. I was going to ask it. So
yeah.
crack on.
Yeah. Warren has asked this question, and I know this probably is a bit of an interesting one. If you could make one change to the WDF, what would it be? What would
the ranking system
change?
The ranking system, the way the ranking system, the ranking system is so flawed. So it is. Like you seen it 2 years ago at the Lakeside, whenever the WDF number 1 was the Australian guy, and he comes to the Lakeside, Danny Porter, and he loses with 66 average on the stage. Not to say Danny is a good player in his own right; he didn't perform, but there was the way the whole ranking system set out, and I have been quite vocal about this year. Whereas these golden tickets for people to turn up once, not play again, get a golden ticket, and then not play again until they're at the Lakeside. I think it's completely wrong. For the points that's on offer for a gold, you don't need the gold tickets. Mm-hmm. The thing is, the WDF thinks that if you win a gold, that your points is going to be enough to win your region. You win your region, you're getting in anyway. So it's going to be duplicating. But I think there's 12 or 13 golds this year. So if you take that there, plus the top two out of every region, it's the people that do the tour that are traveling, that are going everywhere, that I kind of feel sorry for in that respect, because they're not getting a chance. Do you know what I mean? Do away with the gold ranks, in my opinion. Bring the Lakeside back down to 32. Play it from Thursday to Sunday. Then you're not playing in empty rooms.
Yeah, I'm busy.
You're going to have the top 32 who travel all around Europe to gather up points. You're going to have them there, and honestly, I think that makes it fair.
No, I don't dislike that. And again,
no,
I'm not bashing this, but it was just the Lakeside was split into 2 halves this year. When S4C took over, the production was incredible. It genuinely was sensational. However, you can't go from the shambles of Friday to Tuesday or Friday to Wednesday, whenever it was, it's like night and day. It's not fair.
Jarring, isn't it?
It's not fair on those players that only
doing
got
jar
one
jokes,
game.
are we?
Yeah,
Doing
They
jar
did
jokes,
try
are
and
we?
fix it up. They did try and fix it up on the Saturday, the camera angle and stuff up there. So they were trying, you know. But you're 100% right. If you're going to have a major competition, have it televised from start to finish with professional production.
Yeah, it's like if you lose in round one, that's not fair. That you've spent all year grafting to get there, and you get that, and then from round three, it's all glitz and glamour. And don't get me wrong, the production was sensational from midweek onwards. It was good.
But the thing is, even for the likes of me, I'm getting in there as a seed, playing it, getting straight into the second round on a Wednesday. If that's the case, I would rather be going at the first round and play at the weekend when it's busy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I want to play in front of a crowd. I want to play in front of a TV audience. My sponsors want to play in front of a crowd. So standing in there on a Wednesday afternoon in front of 30 people, it's no good. And yeah, something really has to change. But there is a way to change it, and I've outlined it. Do away with the gold tickets, and that was another thing too. I brought up that. So the guys who do the tour, who qualify through the ranking system, have to play 10 events. They have to tick 10 boxes. You win a gold, you don't have to play again. You play one competition a year. Surely they could, if they're going to keep the goals, make it that they have to play. They have to get another 9 ranking boxes ticked before they can actually qualify. You know,
just out of interest, you've got some really good ideas, and I like it. Does part of you want to get in, or would part of you get involved with the running of it?
Yeah, probably. I think if anything, I'd like to be a representative for the players. I don't think that the players are represented enough. Maybe not right away. I'm kind of hoping that the WDF themselves kind of embrace the players more and say, right, what's your thoughts? What can we do? And try and strive forward. I would take on a role, but I'm still playing pretty much top of my game.
Yeah.
So I'm happy doing that there. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? You know, 2 years I could run out of steam. I'm getting old now. You know.
Nah, you're not.
No way. No way, Duff, man. No way.
We'll see over the next. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask you. You going to go to Dublin on Thursday? You got a ticket for Dublin on Thursday night? Oh, okay, fair enough.
No, we were there. Yeah, I've seen it. I seen him in Dublin 2 years ago.
2 years ago, yeah.
Yeah,
because you were flying out the next morning somewhere.
Slovakia, I think we were going.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we have the Northern Ireland Open this weekend.
Lovely.
So I am playing it on Saturday, and then I'm on an early flight on Sunday to Spain for 5 days.
Benidorm by any chance?
You better believe it.
You know it. The pilgrimage. Yeah, it's really. I go with my brother and two of my best friends, and it's the same week every year. So we go out there just to relax. Warm weather training, I call it. You know. So yeah, April through July is going to be really busy. Yeah, well, I had Mitchell and Kaya in Slovakia 3 weeks' time. We're actually having a snowball fight outside, so that was the cold weather training, sort of. Brilliant.
So now it's time for my warm weather training.
Love that.
Well, I know everyone. Neil is in the UK for obviously 2 weeks of the Champions Week and the double in, double out. We are going to try and get him into the studio, and we are going to have a bit of a chuck and a chat because Portsmouth's not too far from here. So we've spoken about it. We are going to try and get him up to the studio as well, which will be a bit of fun.
Well, the international pairs were in Group C, so I am free Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I was actually going to text Chris Murphy and say he put me on comms for Group A. But I will be in touch for that, and I won't be busy. So.
Well, there we go. So we have a 3-day window to get the Duff man up into the studio here at ODHQ, which will be a lot of fun.
It's been a pleasure, boys. Actually, the highlight of it was as soon as you mentioned who the two guests were the night, Geordie boy Chris Bradley signed off.
Yes. Get in.
Thank you very much.
Can we just bring you on the first 5 minutes of every show? Just 5 minutes. You don't have to stick around.
It's
Pop
only
in for
taken
5
us,
minutes each Monday.
it's only taken us 84 years, everyone, but we've done it. The Duff man has been on the live lounge. And Neil, thank you very much, my friend. Everyone.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
The Duff man.
Yeah, mate.
I tell you what, I love that. Just a chat, and it was so good. Just chatting
He's a
along.
good fella, and he's Neil's great because he's another one where he's a brilliant watch. We're lucky. We've seen Neil play loads of times. We've seen some of the performances he put in at the seniors were brilliant. Gave me a couple of really cool afternoons out. Getting to interview him was really fun. But he speaks very, very well about darts as well. Like he is a player, obviously. He's a superb player, but he does have a deep understanding of the way that things work. And from a player's point of view, he's sort of been everywhere and done everything. Internationally, he's been to all these different events, and he's experienced it when it's running brilliantly, and he's experienced when it's running crap. And interestingly, he's realizes the difference, and he knows that sometimes it's quite a subtle change that you can move from one thing to it. Why not try this? Why not try that? And yeah, interesting that he has a lot of very wise things to say about darts, and there'll be quite a few people, I think, well served listening to him.
Yeah 100%. It was good. I really enjoyed it.
Can I just say, for people who think now, there you go. For people who think that we hate the WDF and bash the WDF all the time, we've got 2 WDF guests on this week. What the fuck's going on? the down is up, black is white. The millennium approaches. Honestly, my goodness. Yeah, tell you, we do like the WDF. They just don't want to come on the show. Come on,
we've tried. Have a chat. We'll keep trying.
Send me a t-shirt. Send me a hoodie. I'll wear that as well. Somebody send me some WDF swag. I'll stick it. I'll swap my Luke Littler card out in the back. I'll hang it up at the background.
You'll do anything for £1 note, won't you? Let's be honest about it, Daniel.
I did message the General Secretary again at the weekend, offering the olive branch. He's been active since then, but he's just not read it.
Weird that.
I definitely think the offer needs to be that as he comes into the back end of the streaming software, he comes off, or you come off, he goes in. I think that's the only way. You could lurk in the background, perhaps. And then I suppose you'll just become one more commenter in the chat room, won't it? Phil Bars is active in the chat room. And we've got another question from Mr. Philip Bars again.
But the thing is this though, right? And this is an open invitation, obviously, to Nick and to anybody from the WDF on this. We want to try and help. We want to hear your side of the story. We are not here to rip you to shreds. We're not, but this is not what we want to do. And it's also not just for us, right? It's for people in the chat room. There's a lot of people in the chat room who love the WDF that want to hear from you. Yeah? Come on, have a chat with us. Do it. Not for us. It's not about us getting clicks. It's not us about getting, like, saying, this look what we've got this week. Of course it does, but it's not, that's not the be all and end all on this particular argument. The particular argument is about the fans in the chat room, for people who care about the WDF system and want to see it succeed. There are people here who are desperate for it to succeed, and it needs to succeed. So come and have a chat with us. Come on, do it.
The weekend, WrestleMania was running wild. Ooh. And also, WrestleMania's got a little bit of momentum behind it. There was a lot of platforms using the WrestleMania, including PDC.
We should have copyrighted that.
Yeah, we really should have done already. We didn't think about that, did we?
I do think think if we look back far enough, if you went onto the socials, typed WrestleMania, put all your results into order, you'll find us first, and we should send a shitty message to everyone.
I mean, in particular on Sunday, he was pretty shit, wasn't he?
Oh,
let's be honest about it.
Was he
It was
dropped
absolutely-
7 legs? Was it the whole day?
Shite, absolutely shite. Who else? Average 110. The average 104, I think, in the final, if memory serves me correctly, something like
100 in the final, 110 in the semi, 106 in the quarters, 113 against Van Veen in the third round. It was
garbage.
Excuse me.
Absolutely garbage.
In fact, did he have? Oh, so his opening game, he comes, and this is the difference, isn't it, with some of these? So it came through a deciding leg with his worst average of the day in the opening game against Cristo Reyes, and then after that, after coming through that deciding leg, he didn't average less than a ton all day. And when he and some and that's with a 113. It's with the whole tournament. He just absolutely blitzed through. Really, really superb. I think we said earlier it was. We've always said with him it was when rather than if. So we did all know this was coming. It was in the chamber, and sooner or later, the biggest question I think that comes out of this, from a Wessel Nijman point of view, is when's the next thing going to happen? Because we've watched him play brilliantly quite a lot. And we've watched him get quite close quite a lot. But when's the next thing going to happen? Like, what happens next? And is this going to be a platform that he can build on and continue to go and do things like that? Because we know the game's in him. He's going to have to, he needs to do it more.
Well, what I was going to say on that, genuinely, and Jimmy makes a really good point in the chat room. Two things, really. One, he's dropped 7 legs of those mentioned, but 3 of those games against Premier League players. Van Veen, Rock, Price. Not bad at the moment. I mean, we will talk about Josh Rock a little bit when we discuss the Premier League, because I fear that we have to have a serious conversation. But on the same thing here, and again, Jimmy makes a really good point. I was just looking at the match play race. He's currently 30 grand off being a seed. He's top of the Pro Tour Order of Merit by nearly £90,000. 90 grand ahead. That's a lot of money. He's on 153 grand on the Pro Tour Order of Merit. Luke Woodhouse in second. He's on 66.75. He's what is he? Yeah, he's 20k. Sorry, not 30. 20k off being a seed. He goes and wins another Pro Tour, which, let's be honest about it, he has the game to do it because we've seen him do that. He's basically going to be a seed for the match play without making any sort of inroad in a major. That is ludicrous. And I feel we do have to talk about it because obviously we know the history, right? We know what he was banned for, okay? But the difference thing here, for me at least anyway, is that he owned up to it. Everybody deserves a second chance if you decide to own up to something, in my opinion. I know that's not necessarily a popular opinion on social media or in a chat room because you just want to bash someone for life. Life doesn't work like that. In my opinion, he has done his time. He has tried to explain what happened. He has been very open and honest about it. He has served his time. He deserves to have a proper shot now at doing what he's doing. And he's one of the best players in the world currently, certainly on a floor stage. There's probably about...
It's one of the great sporting redemption stories.
Yeah, I don't... So I am often very harsh in terms of what I think should be done with punishments and repercussions for transgressions. I do have, there's almost like a list of factors that I am will accept as mitigation. I think he almost went through the list of tick, 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 tick. I think he was very young. I think he was highly influenced. I think it was at a time when the world was completely upside down. I think that he had a perceived misunderstanding of how serious it was because things were online and he wasn't, it wasn't at a big event on the telly or anything like that. It was things that were done online during the lockdown. I think it was, but then I think in terms of making it good, I don't know what else somebody could have done. He got involved in all of the programs that he could in terms of educating himself and other people. And I just think, what is the motivation? What is the mindset, or what mindset do you have to come from? And if someone in the chat room thinks it, then explain to me. Where you just say, he's made a mistake, therefore that's it forever. I appreciate you 19, 20, however old he was at the time, 20 maybe. But that's it forever. And I just think it's probably a bit harsh. Nobody got hurt, really. I know it's not good, and it's not a good thing. It's not something any of us enjoy seeing, but there are worse things happen, aren't there? And if he's learned from it, he's moved on from it, he started to reach his potential. What a shame that would have been if that hadn't happened. And we've seen other young players that have received quite severe bans
for being a dick. And let's have it right. There's a massive difference. There's a massive difference between Nijman and a certain other young player. The other young player did not admit to it. The other young player tried to hide from it, and quite rightly has the biggest ban in darting history for it, for acting an absolute prat about it and trying to cover it up. There's a massive difference there. Wessel, no matter what anybody thinks of him, owned up to it. And like Dan says, talk through the mitigation. And again, you can have your opinion on what he did, but you can't deny that he is one of the best players right now, certainly on the Pro Tour. It's simple as plain as that.
100%. And like you say,
and just to finish off, and someone mentioned darts is better for having him in it. I genuinely believe that. Not only because you need, I've got kids and I try and bring them up in a good way with good morals and making good decisions. And first of all, you have to be able to see that someone can make a mistake and redeem themselves for it, and take, second chances don't have to be given out, but they do have to be sort of earned, and you have to take them. And he has took that second chance, and he hasn't needed a third and a fourth, and he hasn't cocked it. Hopefully he doesn't. But I think you need to be able to see. It's important for people to see that there is a bit of a redemption, and I don't think it's an encouragement for people to do things wrong because they think they'll be able to come back around. I genuinely think it's a real redemption story, because he is truly talented, very talented.
And just a final point on this, but Ozzy, I know we need to go and talk about Bunting as well and what happened in that game. But just a quick one on this. Here's the simple fact is that if you do your time, serve your time, and come back a changed person, there is a space for you in the world. As our old adages on this show, don't be a dick. If you're a dick, you're going to be caught out and you're going to be found out. Wessel was not a dick. Because of the circumstances, he took his medicine and did what he did. Like people mentioned in the chat room, Leighton Bennett, Carl McKinstry, they tried to hide it. They've acted a dick. That's why they got the bans that they have. Let's have it right.
And I touched on. I was talking about on the stream yesterday that he's defending nothing in big TV tournaments this year
because he hasn't performed.
That's what I mean. He could genuinely be top 16 by the World Championships.
He can be top 16 by the match play. He can be top 16 by the match play.
Possibly.
If he goes and wins into the Pro Tour,
if he goes and wins another Euro Tour or something, agreed. But he is going through the gears at a record pace. And I love the quote that he said yesterday on stage, where he said, I didn't need to prove anything to myself. I needed to prove to everyone else that I could play on a big stage. I love that line.
But I think he did. I agree with it. Yeah. Because the question has still been there, hasn't it? Because yes, we've seen brilliant performances on the floor. It's been gorgeous in the Pro Tour behind closed doors. But when you look at his record, when he's got it's staggering, to be honest, that he's managed to get where he is in the world. And then you look through his performances in televised darts, and it's crap. Like like last year, he's prelim round out the Masters, first round out Grand Prix, first round out European Championships, first round out Players Championship finals, couple of second rounds. It's the highlight of his year on TV. It was crap. It's staggering that he's picked up enough ranking money to get himself where he has. And if he converts that into picking up telly money as well, he will be. There's no question. He will be in the top 16 and he will stay there.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Let's talk about the bunting game. Hugh Ware, Swiss Phil.
I love it. Love it. Absolutely love it from Hugh and from Phil. I mean, I have not seen Hugh Otwen Ware that angry ever. I didn't think it was possible to see Hugh Otwen Ware that angry ever. But both of them calling it out for the shithousery it is. Just because Nico Spring is German and Bunting's English. And to be fair, we see it all the time now. But the thing is, it's not just the Germans anymore. There's no point just having to go pop at the Germans about it. The Welsh did it a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, there isn't though, because the Welsh did it the same. The Welsh did it a couple of weeks ago. In Nottingham they were doing it against Littler. When he was playing Price. I know it's funny for you. I get that, but it's just the same. But I do think there's a massive difference. I know this sounds stupid. I know there's a massive difference between one person acting the cock and whistling and 5,000 people doing it. If it's just a general noise, it is what it is. I don't agree with it, but it is what it is. But if one dickhead is just deciding to whistle, everybody should be able to point out the dickhead. And as you've said before on the show, Dan, drag them out by the feet.
That's the only way. It's the only way to do it. And I'm more than happy if I see it at a venue. As you know, you've been to darts with me. If I'm in a venue and I see it happen, I'm more than happy to do it. Not a problem. I'm happy to volunteer. I will pull them out by their feet, lead them outside, pop back in, and watch the rest of the match. Yeah, I think it's not acceptable. I think a huge credit needs to go to Hugh and Phil for trying their very best. They are on a hiding to nothing. It's a very, very difficult situation to solve because it's really hard to play that because you can often send the crowd the other way. But sometimes, actually, to be honest, that can be a good thing because what you want from the crowd is that consistent noise level. It's that jarring, jar jokes again. It's that jarring, all of a sudden, loud noise, whistle from nowhere that grabs your attention and pulls you away from your concentration. So when the crowd do get up, whether it's reacting or getting back at the ref or something, that actually it shuts it down a little bit. But I do think you're on a hiding to nothing. There is, I genuinely don't think that there is another solution other than putting it on the tickets, to say, if you are caught doing this, you will just be yeeted out at our earliest convenience. You'll be taken to the nearest fire door and we'll open the door with you. And in some respect, self-policing works in some places. I think there are certain venues and certain certain tournaments where it would self-police and people would, intervene and tell people to pack in. Yeah, UK Open it was self-police quite a lot.
Yep.
But it's not going to self-police at a Premier League event. It's not going to self-police on a Euro tour, and that's where we really need a zero tolerance policy. I used to think, tell them, warn them, and I've stopped now. I was put it on the tickets and put it, make sure there's a couple of signs up here and there that if you are seen to be whistling whilst players are going for doubles, you will just be dragged out.
I mean, Bobsy makes a really good point here in the chat room when he says that when they say more players will start boycotting events in Germany, he's right. I mean, currently, right now, the world number one and the best player on planet darts is not playing an event in Germany by the World Cup and the Euros. Why? Because the crowd are being knobs. And all that's going to do is impact the quality of the greatest tour of professional sport. Now, would that be necessarily a bad thing to be able to, for bigger players to come through and play on bigger stages to advance, just like we talked about earlier with the Rob Crosses and the Luke Humphreys of the world? I don't know if that's a bad thing. But all I will say is that for the quality of the events that the PDC are broadcasting, to not have the world number one in half of your European tour events because the German crowds are being knobs, ain't good breath. Ain't good luck breath. It really isn't.
I'm going to spin this a little bit.
Of course you are.
With the way the calendar there is,
yes,
I'm not sure we'd see the top players in all the Euro tours anyway, as in I could see them skipping half of them anyway because of the calendar. Don't get me wrong.
I get that.
I'm not saying that the whistling isn't an issue. It is, but I'm just saying that I think this is going to become more of the norm, that the biggest players aren't in all the European tours anyway.
Guaranteed. I think, you know, we've spoken to enough people.
I think even if the crowd were on their best behaviour, didn't say a word, I think we'd see Littler, Humphreys, even Gezi now miss maybe 6 or 7 out of 15 anyway.
But there's a massive difference there, Phil. There's a massive difference between you skipping it to try and manage your schedule, which is important and needed, and skipping every single event in Germany because the crowd are being knobs. There's a massive difference there. It's not, forget the ranking, forget everything else. Because I obviously have always respected Gary for the fact that he has always said every single time that he wouldn't go back and do the Euro Tour. And he didn't for 8 years, did he? I mean, and obviously, Mark makes a good point. Reese is never going to be the most attended European tour, as we know. But to basically skip every single event in Germany because the crowd are being are acting the pricks, it's not a good look for the greatest tour in professional sport, but also for PDC Europe, who do. I mean, we had Swissville on here a while back, and he does an incredible job. The European Tour is a fabulous tour, but if the big stars are not playing in half of your events, yes, okay, skipping them is important, obviously, to try and manage the schedule because you talk about the calendar. And there's 15 European Tour events now as opposed to 12. But to not have your biggest star, the biggest star on planet darts, attend any of the events in the biggest country, in the biggest market for darts, even bigger than the United Kingdom, because the crowd are being dicks, it's not a good look. I don't care what anybody says.
That might change in the next year. I think he might do some.
Yeah, but because he might have to, because he's actually defending money. This year he's barely defending anything until November.
He's even defending it. He still just makes it up on TV tournaments.
Well, of course, I'm not saying otherwise, but
I know people in the chat room as well are a little bit annoyed with the PDC about the clip. I actually really like the fact that they put the clip out. People have also got to remember that the PDC are not a governing body. And this is the flaw in the sport. The fact there isn't a governing body. Effectively, the PDC are a promotional company, and that clip has done, and we would have done, incredible numbers on social media. So in terms of promoting, which is what they're there to do, it done the job. It goes back to the point that there isn't a governing body to deal with things like this.
I think, though, and you might back this up, Phil. You might have a giggle and not comment. But
that's
I
not
do
Phil
think
Waz's way of doing things. You know that.
So there seems to be, and there's definitely some action in the chat room of people almost sort of perhaps getting offended on behalf of Hugh Ware. I would like to think that if Hugh was not comfortable or happy with that being put out in the way that it was, that he has the freedom and ability and openness to share that with people in the PDC, and that he would be listened to. So I would happily go along the line of a thought process that if it's out there, then you don't need to be offended on behalf of Hugh, because if he was, he would have dealt with that. And I genuinely believe that the people that I have met who those conversations would have been had with would have supported him completely. I think that it wouldn't have even been a bone of contention, would it?
But that's just a wider issue, though, isn't it, mate? Everybody wants to be offended on everybody else's behalf at the moment.
Look,
I'm not saying that it was wrong, or I'm not saying it was right. Like you say, if Hugh wasn't comfortable with the way they would put it, he would have said it. And it's also because, remember as well, Hugh's got a very successful podcast going at the moment with effectively the sport's biggest sponsor. Let's have it right.
Yeah, I liked the clip, if I'm being honest. But I know we go on about the issue all the time, and I'm not saying it's right, but it won't change.
Nope.
So the players, I know they don't like it, and they shouldn't have to. But they're going to have to get used to it and learn to play through it.
I could stop it in a weekend.
But they're going to have to.
Stun guns. I could stop it in a weekend. One tournament. One tournament. Do you remember? You two are old enough to remember the and Jarvis, because I trekked the lads on a morning in Minehead the weekend to the 1994 Royal Rumble. First thing in the morning with my morning coffee.
I wasn't there for that.
No, you weren't conscious.
No.
But when I was enjoying the 1994 Royal Rumble, do you remember? You'll remember the film. Do you remember the Mountie? Do you remember his little issue enough of them to the lads, get them out through the crowd, make people aware that just one whistle in the wrong place and one of them's going into your back. I'd have it wrapped up in a weekend. Not a problem. Never been an issue again.
But unfortunately, like Bar says, it ain't going to change. The PDC have become. Again, I'm not degrading anything the PDC marketing team does. They're brilliant what they do. But the PDC have marketed themselves as the ultimate night out to get absolutely hammered. And unfortunately, drunk people can't make good decisions.
Right,
going back, weekend.
Going back to the actual part, there were two players that this weekend deserve a lot of credit, because there was pressure on them after poor 6 months and 3 months, respectively, in Nico Springer and Damon Heta. Now, Springer's game on the Friday against Kai Gotthard seemed to be a turning point. He won a last leg decider, and then all of a sudden, the click of our fingers, we got the old Nico Springer back. He looked like Nico again. Like that, I said on stream, that World Championship defeat took a lot out of him and the man of the performance. And I think that scrappy win got him through. Also, Damon Heta against Labanauskas, he was superb in terms of he was averaging about 104. And under pressure, he took out, I think it was a 92 and a 110. And then all of a sudden, Damon Heta seemed to be the old Damon Heta again. So for those two, this was a massive weekend without winning.
Yeah. And I didn't see it coming, to be honest, from either of them. Like, I think it's definitely a better weekend for Damon than it is for Nico Springer. I think, I know we saw the Euro Tour win from Nico Springer, but that's sort of what we've seen from him. When you look across and that's about what we've seen across his career. Damon Heta is a seriously top level dart player, a player that for years and years we and many others repeatedly named as the next player to win a major title on telly, the next player to win his first major title on TV. And it has been, the form has not been there for quite a while now. And it's massively encouraging, but he's got to keep it up, because again, he's he's been so far away from what he has come to expect. You know, the last year that he had, that run on TV, sort of from the match player right through to the end of the year where he didn't win a game on TV. And that's not Damon Heta. That isn't the player that he is and that he's been for a long time. So, yeah, good to see him heading in the right direction. I just hope it can sustain itself and stay up there, because it's a miss for, I think, from the top end of the game at the minute is him coming and playing his top level.
Also, Kevin Dukes as well. An unbelievable performance. We're seeing these, but now Kevin Dukes, for me, need to take that next step. We know the level is there. Now he needs to go and win a Pro Tour and so on, and go from having a good game in him to being a winner.
But if he wins a Pro Tour, I think he makes the match play. You know, he's in the qualification positions right now.
He's in a spot as it is already. Yeah. So,
but I think that he could go and back his bags to Blackpool if he wins a Pro Tour.
I think he's going to. You know, when you look at that Pro Tour order of merit, you look at the players around him, even above him. You know, in that qualification list for the match play, I think he's playing better than most of the players around him, and has been for a good spell of time. And if you if you had to stack up what you thought those list of players were going to pick up in ranking money between now and the match play cutoff, I think he comfortably makes the match play, because I think he'll do more between now and then than a lot of the other players that he's around. I don't think he'll get pegged back. You know, when you look outside of the rankings and you look at the chasing pack, if you like, and you think, well, who's gonna really make an inroad into that qualification spots? And you like the top level, you think Rob Cross, perhaps Callan Ridge might turn it a little bit, but when you look there, there's very little form across the rest of that chasing pack.
No, I agree. Premier League, this has got to be a first. We're so late to the Premier League.
10 minutes left. We have to be very quick here, aren't we?
Oh, yeah, we're just going to look. Nottingham.
Johnny won.
Poor Johnny, not getting his flowers at all, is he? No, I mean...
But you know, no, fuck this. I'm going to give him his flowers, right? Because I remember half the fucking people on the first show that we did said that Johnny Clayton should be in the Premier League.
He was Bookie's favourite to finish bottom.
Exactly.
Well, that's ridiculous. Because whether he was in it or not, the question I always thought was whether or not he'd done enough to justify a spot ahead of some other people. Now, I had him in. He was in my 8.
Yeah.
But I think, for me, this is where I thought the bookies had got it wrong. There was never a question about whether or not Johnny will play well in the Premier League. It is perfect, Johnny Clayton. Yeah. It's like someone's constructed an environment that is perfect for ferreting, and it is the Premier League.
And he's there. For me, there is absolutely no way that he will not be at the O2. I'm not saying right now, I'm not on 19 points, but like
we're 6 nights in, and he's 5 points off of the total that got you to the O2 last year.
Plus, as well, he's won a quarter-final every single week so far. He hasn't been beaten in a quarter-final.
Yeah, we're 6 nights in from 16, and he's 5 points off.
And the thing is that I still vividly remember it. People going that, oh, Clayton doesn't deserve a spot. Every single year, he's been a full member of that Premier League. Johnny Clayton has finished in the playoffs.
Correct.
And people don't think.
And what is it? And again,
blew my mind.
If I was running a £50 million darts exhibition, that's what I would want Johnny Clayton in there, because he will turn up no matter where you are in the world or in Europe. No matter which stadium or arena you are in, he will play and he will turn up and he will turn it on enough times over the course of that 16 weeks that he will entertain you. And again, he's going to be through to the last 4 again. Johnny Clayton can win the Premier League this year, make absolutely no mistake at all. He's the only player. The only player that hasn't lost an opening round game.
I love the biggest thing. Yeah, and he's right. Also, a couple of big things as well with this is the fact that we haven't even mentioned it. The fact that he played with gout, and in fact his gout had flared up big time. He could barely fucking walk. The poor bloke. He was absolutely gone.
It's a posh condition. That I like that. My heart goes out to anyone without. You know, Henry VIII, innit? Fetch me another goose. That's what
Red wine and red meat.
Bit of Henry VIII,
But
this week
from Johnny, I know we've got to go to Dublin, but I think we need to discuss this, Bazzi. I really do. But from Johnny to Joshua, are we concerned yet?
I think we have to be concerned that it's a mental block, because in the Euro Tour he played okay. He posted some good numbers. I think it's a mental block of the Premier League.
And played all right at Minehead as well. Played fine at Minehead, didn't he? Played some great stuff.
It's not an ability issue or anything like that. It's not an overall
not an action problem.
Issue. It's a Premier League issue.
But also, I think this is a fair point, because I won't lie and say that I didn't think that Stephen Bunting deserved to be in the Premier League this year. If Stephen Bunting was putting at the numbers that Josh Rock is putting up against, 92.6 average overall this season, checkout rate of only 23%. If that's Stephen Bunting instead of Josh Rock, social media would be absolutely hammering him.
I still think they got the pick right. He was in mine. I would have picked him.
I agree with you, but let's have it right and let's be fair. If that's Stephen Bunting, are we not coming on here and saying that the PDC got the pick wrong with those averages?
In hindsight, maybe yes, but I still think the pick was correct. Hindsight.
I agree with you.
Hindsight is a wonderful thing.
I agree with you. I'm not saying the pick wasn't right at all. Don't make me think that I'm not.
Yeah.
But I do think that we have to say that at this point, and again, it comes back to that argument of people who are debutants in the Premier League. It is a really difficult thing.
And this goes back to the reason they never make wholesale changes, because you have to pick players that are proven and reliable in the Premier League for 16 weeks.
Yep.
But we are going to the Emerald Isle. We are going to the greatest night in the 16 weeks of the Premier League.
Is Exeter back? Is Exeter back?
No.
Oh, shame.
Unfortunately, the sheep shearing's being used for something else at the moment.
Oh, that's a shame. I thought you were talking about the greatest night then.
We are on the banks of the Liffey, and it will be Jan van Veen against Michael van Gerwen. Stephen Bunting takes on Luke Littler. Josh Rock takes on Gerwin Price, and Johnny Clayton takes on Luke Humphreys. They are your quarter-finals. And just before we look at them, Game 1 in Berlin is already set. It will be Clayton versus Rock in Berlin. They will be 1-8, regardless of what happens on the Emerald Isle.
Marvellous.
So, let chat room get involved as well. Let's go through it. All Dutch affair. Bunting against Van Gerwen. What are we saying?
Michael van Gerwen wins 6-3.
Jan van Veen wins 6-4.
A Dutchman wins 6-4, and the Dutchman will be mighty Michael van Gerwen. Stephen Bunting takes on the back-to-back champion of the world, and number one, Luke Littler.
6-1.
What, Bunting?
Yeah. No, Littler was
6-1, and I've only given him the ones that nobody says I'm being mean.
I'll be more generous. 6-2 to Wonderboy.
I'm going to go a bit closer. I'm going to go 6-3. Josh Rock takes on Gerwin Price on the Emerald Isle.
It's the wrong game, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the wrong fixture, I'm afraid, for things to start turning. And of course, Josh Rock has already got his night 8 fixture, because he can't move up and Johnny Clayton can't move down between now and then. So he knows he's playing top of the table week after next. He's got Welshman 2 weeks on the run. Gezi Price. 6-5.
6-2 to Price. Unfortunately, I just don't see how Rock wins this game at the moment in the Premier League.
6-4 Price, and Price hits a 9-darter in leg 5.
Ooh.
If that happens, I'll give you the money myself.
Johnny Clayton takes on Cool Hand Luke Humphreys.
I think this is the first night that Johnny Clayton loses a quarter-final. I think it's going to be 6-4 to Luke Humphreys in a rematch of last week's final, of course. Don't forget. Great to see this matchup again.
The ferret match is on.
Okay, I get it.
6-4.
Cool
Luke
Hand
Humphreys just
for me.
Sorry, go on, mate. I was
Cool
just going to say.
3.
Oh, sorry, I was just going to say with this one. This is a game that Luke Humphreys has to win going into night 8. He's got to win this game because, yes, he's just outside the playoff places, but this is a big moment. I think it's a big moment where because if he doesn't win this game, I'm not saying he's not going to make the top 4, but it gets a bit more difficult, doesn't it? I don't get nervous, but I'm starting to get a bit shaky. Do you know what I mean?
Right, Van Been's made 3 finals, yet Luke Humphreys is level on points with him. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Because Van Been's been brilliant, Humphreys hasn't, and he's still.
And Gerwin Price has won a night, and Luke Humphreys is still on the same.
And Luke Humphreys is still level on points.
Yep.
So,
but I do think though. Sorry, I was just going to say one final thing. I do think now the rest are playing for 3 spots. I think there are 6 players fighting for 3 spots. Josh Rock's out.
Johnny's there.
Right.
Johnny's there. They've done this.
And I think Josh is already out of it, unfortunately.
Yep. You are right.
So I think with 6 for 3, 6 into 3 don't go.
From your predictions, who wins on the Emerald Isle and who do they beat in the final?
Dublin wins because they're going to get absolutely slaughtered for St. Patrick's Day 2 days later. 2 days earlier, I should say. I don't know. Fuck knows. It's a Luke versus Luke final, and Luke wins, and that Luke will be Luke Humphreys.
Okay. No, it's not. It's
6-4.
Oh, do you know what? Why not? Why not have a change? It's Michael Van Gerwen in the final with Gezi Price. Price wins 6-3.
Don't just like that.
Luke Humphreys beats Michael Van Gerwen 6-5 in the final.
Okay. I mean, you're both wrong, but that's fine.
So yeah, that's the Premier League. And thank you everyone as well that did join us for the watch along last week. It has certainly given us something to think about.
The next one will be night 14. Oh no, night 15 even, won't it? That's the next one. Oh, yes, because one of us has to go to the NIA with the tournament, and the table will be basically halfway done.
However, you can't moan. You live 20 minutes from the venue.
I don't care. I'm still going to moan about it. But the NIA is an absolute. It's my shithole, but it is a shithole.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Exactly. Exactly.
But I've got to say, what a show it has been tonight. It has flown by. 2 absolute sensational guests. Thank you very much to Mitchell Lawrie and Neil Duff for joining us. We do have a guest. Well, he said yes. I will confirm it with him on Thursday. Spoiler alert, he will be in Dublin. Just to confirm.
Ooh. Yes.
But we have a guest lined up for next week as well already. Thank you so much for joining us. Remember, this will be available as an audio only as well from wherever you get your podcast from. We will be streaming for the European Tour again this weekend. So make sure you like and subscribe as we edge closer to that 50k mark. But what a live lounge it has been this evening. Myself, Phil Bars, Jonathan and Dan Simpson, you guys have absolutely smashed it. Give yourself a round of applause and we'll see you all very, very soon.
Bye.
in 3, 2, 1.
Hi Jolliffe, thanks for being in the Barney Army.